Hello, my name is Ashley Carice, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my story of unconditional love. It's exciting, it's beautiful, and it's possible for everyone. And for those of you who don't know what unconditional love is, let me share with you. Unconditional love, to me, is basically loving somebody whether they are doing really well, performing really well, thriving in their life, or they're sitting on the floor crying and disconnected from you, feeling not good, not like themselves. And this is something that I didn't know fully it existed until I met my husband Michael. And so that is where the story time comes in, because this was not a tool that I had really learned humans could do. Yeah, I didn't know that basically anyone other than Jesus could use this. I thought this was just reserved for Papa God and his unconditional love. And I didn't realize that I could actually be somebody that loves somebody else unconditionally, and that somebody could love me this way, because I just never was taught that. I never was taught that it was possible, and I never received that really. I would say that growing up, my experience of love was based off of when you're doing really good, you receive love. You receive good feelings from your family. You receive, acknowledgement and words of affirmation. And if you're not doing very good, you receive punishment. You receive basically just like a lack of love in order to help you to be motivated to perform better in the future. And that was all I knew. And I can honestly say that it made perfect sense to me. When you're performing really good, then you should receive love. And when you're performing really bad, you don't deserve good things because you didn't earn it. And looking at that from where I am today, I can honestly say it breaks my heart that I ever believed that, and that it ever really, really made sense to me. It was not only a tool that everyone that I knew used, it was a tool that I used on myself. And it was one that really, really, really hurt me and cost me a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And it really wasn't so hard to learn that there was another way and there was a much better way. And the only way that I found out any of this was by marrying somebody that understood that we actually could do this. And when he shared this with me, my first response was just like, I can't perform perfectly all the time, Michael. You know, like, don't make me try. I know that I'll never be good enough. And he just was like, you don't get it. You're not understanding it. It's not about performing at all. It's not about trying to be enough. It's like, you already are enough. I already see you as the most incredible person. And to me, it was not making sense. I was literally just like, this guy, he doesn't get it. I don't understand how he thinks that I'm this when I'm performing like this. And I need to show him that he doesn't understand by, withdrawing love and showing him that this is the reality of things. And in doing that, I created a lot of pain that was not necessary.
And then even while I'm sabotaging him, he's looking at me, he's loving me, he's seeing me and wanting connection with me.
And I basically tested him to the maximum because I felt so unworthy based off of my performance. And I recognized I was married to a superhuman that could perform perfectly all the time. And I was literally just like, I will never be enough because this person that I'm with is the most incredible person that I've ever met. And they've never, even for a second, fallen short of that. And I just thought, this is going to be so hard because I don't know how to just do that. And what I found out is that the way that he does this is the way that God does it for us. And it's really not that hard. And so let me explain this to you. Love can happen where it's not based off of how good you're doing, your performance at all, but instead it's this love that loves the essence of who you really are. And it's based off of knowing who the other person really is, knowing that even if they were to make mistakes and not do everything perfectly, that doesn't detract from their value. It doesn't detract from who they are. And he was able to get himself to a place where he could see me as, we call it, my spirit. And that was basically just the real essence of who I am. So one day when it was really like, I was really struggling, it was not making sense to me. I still didn't understand how this unconditional love thing worked. Michael, he, looked at me and was like, okay, I want you to try something. And I was like, okay, I'll try something. I do want to make a shift, and be a good performer. And he said, okay, now close your eyes and just imagine that you did absolutely nothing for the rest of your life. You literally just sat and just, did absolutely nothing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this sounds like my nightmare. I don't want to do that, but I'm imagining it. And now he said, now look at God. And how does he look at you? In that moment, you did absolutely nothing the rest of your life. And imagine that he's looking down on you. What is he looking at? What is he thinking about? And I knew for a fact that God still loved me, even though I spent my whole life doing absolutely nothing, just sitting. And it really helped me to recognize, like, oh, love is not based off of what you're doing. And so much of the time we identify as something that we do, our behavior. We get our identity from it. And that is actually not the truth of who you are. And so it was so healing for me to learn this and to actually understand, like, it's possible for us to receive unconditional love and to be unconditional love and to give it to one another. And after years and years of me recognizing I had tested Michael to the max, I was literally the worst partner. I would be discouraging him. I would be hurting him. I would be sabotaging him because deep down, I felt so unworthy of him because I thought he was such a better performer than me. and that he deserved to be with somebody that could be at his level. That's how I felt deep down. And it's so sad because
he looked at me still every second and was just like, love, like, I'm right here. I want the best for you. I love you so much. Like, please stop carrying these tools. Please stop trying to attack me. I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to, be that person that you've experienced. I'm never going to treat you that way. And I love you so, so much. Please put down the punching bags because I'm not going to ever punch back. And it's like in those moments, you're just like, how even is this a real human being? He loved me unconditionally and he saw my identity in that moment.
that whole time that I was fighting him, I could have been receiving love from him. I could have been loving him back. And I definitely wasn't for a lot of that time. And instead, I was doing the opposite, where I was hurting him. And I eventually came to the point where I realized, do I want to keep hurting him and punishing him for marrying me? Like, how long do I want to keep being in this place, because he actually doesn't deserve it? And so I let myself see it. I let myself see, like, oh my gosh, I have really hurt him. I've really, not been loving him unconditionally. And I've been seeing him as this thing that I would never be able to attain. But if he can do it, and he's done it all these years, I can't still believe that it's not possible. And so for me, I had to recognize, like, it actually is possible. And instead of fighting him, why don't I just try to learn and to grow and to bring healing and bring truth and bring freedom? And I can honestly say, like, it's so worth it. And that I'm able now to recognize I can love myself unconditionally. I can believe in myself. I can, care about myself in a way that it's like, I would choose me too, and not out of a conceited place, but out of a place of being proud of myself and recognizing that I'm worthy, whether I do absolutely nothing for the rest of my life or I go after every dreams and crush it like I'm planning to do. Not that it would change the way that I receive love. It's just the truth. And so recognizing, okay, I can now also, love God unconditionally. And I can recognize that he's loved me this whole time unconditionally. And I can recognize now that I'm able to love my husband unconditionally and see who he really is, and recognize, like, I mean, he has never done anything to this point that would really, make me feel like I have even a good excuse to separate from him, which I used to come up with ways, and it was super painful for him when we first got married. But when I really look back at it, it's like, I mean, he just lives fully out of his identity. But I have this knowing that even if he were to fully lose sight of it, if he were to, get into a coma and just wake up and be a different person, I know deep down in my heart that I could see his true identity, love him, and be there for him and help him come out of whatever it is that he has experienced, and remind him of his identity and be the person basically that he was for me. And I feel so grateful that I have this new revelation and that I'm able to live my life out of that place. And so unconditional love has been transformative, to say the least. And this is just another lesson that I've learned that's really helped me in my life. And it's something that I want to share with other people so that they can know that it exists, so that they can be inspired, so that they can, recognize that it's possible, and so that they can um, let go of all of the performance and just choose unconditional love. So, if you liked this video, if you felt inspired by it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, give it some comments, some love. If you have any questions about unconditional love, I'd love to answer some of those for you. In the next video, I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to get your life back on track. So if you're feeling like you're behind in life, like you haven't been reaching your goals, if you haven't been moving forward in a while, in the next video, I'm going to share with you some guidance of how to get your life back on track. And so, see you in the next video. Bye!